Hello all and welcome to Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and I'm coming to you today with, drumroll please, our very first, not only our very first Christmas project, but it's also introducing all of our Christmas projects that we're going to be making for the rest of the year. Oh, it's very exciting. I know Halloween hasn't arrived yet, but we're working on that. We really are. But let's talk Christmas now. For quite some time now, I've been wanting to make an advent calendar. And our lovely Raylene guessed what it was on our Wednesdays live. Very exciting. By the way, we have lives at 4 p.m. Wednesday afternoons and 10 a.m. Saturday mornings of Melbourne, Australia time. Now that Saturday morning, marry that up with your country, yep. That Saturday morning, by the way, if you're not subscribed, smash that button, guys, because this is actually the video to subscribe to, right? And because for two reasons. One, we're doing the Advent calendar tutorial in this video, but two, we're introducing, no, we're not really talking about our Christmas projects. Let me scratch that, reverse it. We are going to be talking about one project today only, and that is the Advent calendar, which you would have seen in the photo. So there it is. I hope it's in screen there. Woo, let's do it like that. That way we can show if it's in screen. Now, every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time, for the rest of the year, one subscriber, or maybe even two, depending on how small some of these projects are, gets to choose the colour of our very next Christmas project, if you will. Now, our calendar is called the 12 Projects of Christmas. I know, right? We could call it Wow Crochet Designs 12 Projects of Christmas. Today is Project 1 and it is, ta-da, an Advent calendar. All right, so each one of these, I can get that in there, and each one of these numbers have a project, I just squashed that, have a project written on it. Now, these projects were all the projects that you guys, as subscribers, chose for me during two of our lives, or might have been three. Doesn't matter. You guys gave me a list of all the projects you'd like to see as tutorials on our channel. I broke it down into different categories and said, right, we're doing that, and that, or 12 of them. All right, so 12 projects of Christmas. Very exciting. Best part is, as you know, I've chosen the colours for today's tutorial, obviously, because I didn't want to give it away that I was creating an Advent calendar. It's a surprise. But what I did today was create the calendar with you. By the time you're finished, you will be about here. You might actually just have one or two or four of your dates attached to the piece, because that's how I show you what to do. And then I say, right, head off on your own and attach the rest. And then I say, right, that's it for the tutorial. We'll talk about the rest on Saturday mornings live. One lucky subscriber on our channel will get to choose the color combination. First, they'll get to find out what they are going to create, what we are going to create for them with their choice, and then their choice will have the colors up here, and you guys can get to choose the colors of that particular project. It's very exciting, and they'll be not in the mystery packs like we normally do. They'll be opened up right there where those toys are, right there with the koala and so on. But I'm going to move the koala and so on specifically for Christmas to keep all the Christmas yarn there. And you guys know that it's not, Christmas yarn is not just red, white and green. You have golds, you have silvers, you have other colours that you could actually choose for your projects. Or you could choose all the colours, or whatever the case may be. I'm giving you leeway when it comes to Christmas. This is way too exciting. So let's say you pick number 2 out and it's a Christmas, I'm trying to think now, horseshoe. There's no such thing, but it's a Christmas horseshoe, no such thing. Christmas horseshoe decoration, if you will, right? So you guys will choose the colours for that horseshoe. If you want grey, if you want black, if you want green, red with pink spots, it doesn't matter. Whatever colours of the yarn will be up there, you guys get to choose for your project that you've chosen from here. That's one lucky subscriber on every Saturday morning's live. Or if the projects are small, I will do 2 live antics at the same time. Like, you know, one and then pull out another one, so on. All right. So the first one will be whoever chooses it. The next one will be whoever chooses it. Yeah. It's very, very simple. That's the easy part. The difficult part is creating them. And some of them are not really small, but a lot of them are small, but there are a few of them that are quite large. So bear that in mind. Look, I don't want to talk too much because this tutorial will go for a long time. I wanted to be thorough with the actual piece itself. It's quite simple, but at least with the actual squares themselves and attaching them to the piece, I think that's what took a long time. I may even just chop a little bit of it out because, you know, she's like this throughout the tutorials. But you guys know me by now. And if you're joining us new, welcome. Have some fun with us. Join us for Christmas. And another thing, this is actually a dual purpose scroll, if you will. That's what I'm calling it, a Christmas scroll. Yeah. Because next year we're going to use this 12 projects of Christmas is going to be changed to 12 projects of the year for our annual project. Now it's either 1 project or 12. We're going to do, all of us, all 28,000 of us, we're going to do a poll very soon. After we've introduced a few of these projects and we've got halfway through our Christmas gear, we're going to talk about what we're going to be creating next year for our annual project. Before you head over to the workstation, make sure you have your yarn. Now the yarn we used, I doubled this yarn. I used 2 strands at a time. Okay. And it is called Brighton Cotton. It is actually 50% cotton and 50% acrylic. Okay. You can use whatever you like. There's no size limit. If you want to make yours wide, longer, use a thicker cotton, thicker yarn, doesn't matter. But I used 2 strands of 8-ply DK weight 3-weight yarn. I used 2 strands together to create the piece. All right. And I used about 80 to 90 grams of the red. And that was that yarn. But the green yarn is actually Bendigo Woollen Mills yarn. Okay. And I used 70 to 75 grams of the green. And of the cream, it's also Bendigo, or the white, if you will. It's also Bendigo. I use between 12 and 18 grams. I say between because I didn't actually weigh, to be fair, I didn't weigh the cream. And all of it is done using 2 strands of red, 2 strands of green, and 2 strands of cream at the same time, working with both those strands at the same time. So keep that in mind when you are creating. I used a 4.5 millimeter hook, gorgeous, and that gives it that really taut, strong feel. I actually have a second stick that's supposed to be in the base. Oops, that's moved. That's supposed to be at the base, but it's in the other room. I forgot to bring it in. So there you go. I just wanted to bring one in to show you. So you could see it. That's pretty much it. You'll need scissors. You'll need 2 stitch markers. That's it. I don't want to talk anymore because I don't want to waste your time. Let's head over to the workstation and create the gorgeous 12 projects of Christmas calendar. Good luck all. Alrighty guys, you will need 2 skeins together. We're working on 2 skeins together. So grab both your ends and just, get them as close together as you can. And just wrap them around your finger like you're doing a normal slip knot, okay, which is what we're doing. Grab the tails, wrap it around your finger once and twice, holding it there and holding it down there. Pass your back loop halfway over, hold it there, the other loop all the way over, pop your hook in and give your work a tug. So you've got your 2 tails there. Now give yourself enough tails for weaving in later. You don't need to worry about that for now. And let's start. We're going to make chains, and a chain is yarn over your hook, pull the loops through once. I say loops because we're working on 2 loops at a time. We can just say loop for now, yeah? So that's 1. Do it again, yarn over your hook, pull the loop through, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right? So what you need to do is continue making chains until you get to, I'm tangled up already, until you get to 32. All right, we've done 5. I'm going to pop this on fast and continue doing your chains until you get to chain 32. And off we go. 6, and 32. All right, so right now you have 32 chains. Before continuing, I need you to chain just one more, like so, because initially you need 32 stitches, and that first stitch or the last stitch that you do doesn't count, okay? So what we're going to do is go into that stitch right there with a single crochet US, double crochet UK. Pop your hook in that top loop, and it can just be the top loop, nothing fancy. Into the top loop, pull your loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops, grab your stitch marker. All right, so let's lift up the loop and just pop your stitch marker in the top 2 loops of that stitch there. It's a bit tight, but it's there. All right, so that's another thing, guys. If you're going to pull your loops out, keep a stitch marker in those loops. We can talk about that later. All right, in the meantime, I want you to place a single crochet in the next stitch. That's the stitch you are in. You're going over to that next stitch right there and do your single crochet, hook in, pull the loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. That's your second single crochet or double crochet UK. And all you are doing, is simply that. Single crochet into every top loop you come to all the way across your piece. All right, so I'm going to pop this on fast once again, and I would like for you to do a single crochet into every top loop all the way across, and off we go. All right, I'm getting to the end of this row, and I'm just going to get a nice close-up for you so you can see where we end. All right. So you pop your hook in that top loop right there at the end, if you can get that in there, and do your final single crochet, and you'll have your little knot here. Just ignore that. So what I want you to do first before doing anything else is to count your stitches, and you're counting these little V looking things. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. Everyone should have 32 stitches, all right? If you don't have 32, check where you went wrong, but that's what we need for our pattern to work. So what we're going to do now is chain 1 and turn our work. You can turn it this way or you can turn it the other way, but we are working along the stitches that we just created. So I'm going to turn my work, and in that very first stitch, we're going to ignore our chain. In the very first stitch, and you can see the V looking stitch there, pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. Once again, grab a stitch marker. All right, that stitch marker was very far away. Don't you love it? Pop your stitch marker in the top 2 loops of your first stitch. Yes, and then all you're going to do simply is this. You're going to pop a single crochet into each stitch across. Now, if you're not sure where the stitch is, it's a little V on top, yeah? You just give your work a stretch and you can see it. Pop your hook in that space, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops, and into the next stitch. Again, if you can't see it, pull your work and you can find it right there. All right, a very simple row. I don't think I'll let you watch me do this. Single in every stitch all the way across. Simple, simple, simple. Get to that very last stitch marker or just before it. Meet me there once you're done and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here I am at the end of this row, yeah? Don't lose your threads. And we're going to talk about, threads in a minute, so keep that in mind. In about 2 seconds, we're going to talk about that. All right, so I'm going to do my final single crochet in that stitch with your stitch marker. So pop it in the stitch, pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through 2, remove that stitch marker. We're going to chain 1, pop your stitch marker in there. That's what I meant. We're going to pop our stitch marker in the loop every time we walk away, because there's nothing worse than pulling at your yarn and losing your stitch. All right, a little bit of a tip there. Now you have done 2 rows of single crochet if you had to think about it, which you have, but this one row that you've done right here, I need you to repeat that one row 4 more times. Okay, so you need to do 4 more rows. Once you've completed 4 rows, exactly the same way as this one here, meet me back here and then we will talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so I asked you to do another 4 rows. So altogether you should have 6 rows. And make sure you still have your 32 stitches across. So go ahead and count them now if you haven't yet done so. But in the meantime, we're going to pop a single crochet in our final stitch, remove that stitch marker for a minute, and chain 1 like normal. So what we're going to do now is we're going to close our work up for our stick to go in there, okay? So the way we do that is so simple, all right? We flip our work like normal. We pop our hook in the first stitch like normal, then we bring up the base and we go into the first stitch of the base and do a single crochet. As simple as that, yeah? Whoops, pop your stitch marker in that stitch. Don't forget it. You'll need it at the end of the row. And then you go into your second stitch there and into the second stitch on the other side. If you're not sure where your stitches are, just face your work to you. That's your first stitch. And on the other side, you can see right there. All right. It's sort of like a V, but not. But there you go. So into every stitch all the way across. Notice how I face my work towards me. Into the first stitch, face the work, and you find the other stitch. All right, now before you go, we're going to try it and see if the stick does fit in that space right there. So pop your stick in your space, okay? Mine actually does and has plenty of room to move even. But we don't want it to be loose, so if you tip it upside down, it falls out. You don't want that. And you don't want it to be really tight where you kind of push that stick in and you can't get it in. So just make it so it can just glide in casually like that. If it can't and it's really tight and you can't get your stick in, take this undone, do another row, okay? If it's really loose and your stick is even smaller, take this undone, take the other row undone, and then close up your piece. So it just depends on your stick and how thin or thick your stick is. All right, but in the meantime, your job is to go into the next stitch there, the next on the opposite side, and single crochet all the way across. I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do this. It's going to take forever. Make sure you get into every stitch at the back and every stitch at the front, all right? So what I want you to do is single crochet all your stitches all the way across. Get to your second last stitch right there. Meet me there once you're done and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so here we are at the end of this row, and I would like to just show you the last stitch. The last stitch on this side is with your stitch marker. You can remove that stitch marker, the stitch marker, and the last stitch on the opposite side is right there with the knot. You might want to just pop your knot down there like so, and at the back, and just do a normal single crochet. So your knot is at the back, yeah? So you chain one, pull up a loop, pop your stitch marker in there, because once again, we're going to try and see if our little stick fits. I'm pretty sure it does, plus the fact that I tried it on beforehand, and oh, that didn't work. Let's try that. There you go. And there you go. All right, so that fits perfectly with a little tiny bit of leeway there, but not a lot for it to fall out and not too tight for it to be seen. It's a bit difficult to be seen anyway because we have doubled our thread, which is a bonus. All right, so the next job is super easy. You'll love it, you'll love it, you'll love it, okay? Your next job is just simply this. Flip your work, pop your hook in your first stitch and do a single crochet. Pop your stitch marker there, like so. And a single crochet in your next stitch. And actually, it's easier to see these stitches because the stitch is really loose because of the base work. But that's what you're going to do. Single into every stitch. Oops, all the way across, like so. Gorgeous. All right, so head off on your own, simple, single all the way across, get to this stitch marker, meet me there once you're done, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of this row. Get excited, get excited. All right, so single crochet into the last stitch like so. Remove your stitch marker. Chain one, turn your work, single into your first stitch, replace your stitch marker. I think you know where this is going. Yep. I think you know now. The rest is super duper easy. Single crochet in every stitch all the way across. I'm sounding like a broken record. So what we're going to do here is simply that. Your job now is to single crochet into every stitch all the way across. And not just that, your job now is to do 51 rows. So big job you have right now. Head off on your own and do your, I'm trying to get this ready while I speak to you, and do your 51 rows. Exactly the same as this one right here. Meet me back here once you're done and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of our 51 rows. Now we are going to cast off in a minute. Make sure you've done 51 rows. I, to be fair, lost count. So 51, 52, 53, 54, doesn't matter because that's plenty of rows to put our squares or place our squares. We're going to talk about that later. What you need to do now is we're going to sew this piece down the back. And as you can know, I've played with the square there, but anyway, we're going to sew this piece right at the back, yeah? And this is the back because we have our tails at the back. Don't worry about my square. I'll talk about the square with you in a minute. So what you want to do is grab your little stick again, whatever size stick you have, and that's what you're going to do. You need to have enough space for your stick to fit, and then start sewing with me right here. We're going to do that in a second. Before we do, you need to give yourself a long enough tails, and we're going to use both the threads to sew. It'll be a little bit tight, a little bit thick, but it's better to have a bit more of a solid join. All right, so I'm just going to pass my threads one way, pass them another. It's probably going to be too much anyway. Pass them another again, and then cut the thread. All right, so make your last stitch, cut your threads, move everything out the way, and wherever the last stitch is, right here. Yeah. What I want you to do before pulling your last thread through, chain your one at the end of the row like normal, and then just grab your tails and pull them through and tighten it up. All right, so what you want to do is take these tails and rethread them into, or thread them I should say, into a sewing needle with a thicker eye. Yeah, if you've got one of these little darning needles that point up, that's great too. If you don't stress, just any sewing needle with a thicker eye. If not, put one thread in at a time. Add your sewing needle, add your thread to the sewing needle. Gorgeous. And like that. And once again, like I said before, you flip it, you turn it over. Like the base, it should be around 6 rows. Yeah. Okay. So adjust your piece. So it's 1, 2, 3, roughly around there. Okay. Try your stick. This looks like it's a little loose. My 3 might be a little too much like 4. So I'm going to do that. But remember, your stick still has to fit. All right. So what we're going to do here is place our, there we go, our needle. Actually, no, we won't. We'll bring it around this way because we want to tighten up this area. Yeah. So we'll bring it around to the opposite side, to the other side. Find a space in the other side and then a space in your first stitch like that. All right, don't do this too tight for now. Just leave it loose for a minute because if we find that your stick doesn't fit, we may have to take it undone. All right. So keeping your piece as straight as possible and pop it in the very next stitch on this side and straight through your piece on the other side. All right. And again, if you want to put clamps, little clasps, things here to hold it in place, so all you have to do is turn it over and go through one piece, through one stitch there, and it goes, usually it should go straight through, but that didn't work there. So you need clasps, I think, and pull that through. Before continuing, I would grab the stick and try it, because if it doesn't fit, then you're going to have to take it all undone. But that looks gorgeous to me. All right, so I don't think I'm going to let you sit here and watch me do the whole thing, but I'll show you a couple of more stitches. Try to keep this as straight as possible. That's where you might be able to use, you know, those office clasps. Pop one there, there and there. I'm not going to bother. I just, you know, it's quite solid, so I'm just going to keep it nice and straight and just keep it going through like so. All right, so your job is to do that. Make sure you are going through the stitch and you're not missing anything, and just keep going all the way through. Yeah. Oh, mine's tight. It's pulled. Give me 1 second here, guys. There we go. My thread pulled. All right, so we're going straight into the next stitch, all the way through to the other side, and keep going all the way across. All right, I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me do this. It's going to take me forever, and that didn't even go into the stitch. Right there. Come on, Mary, you can do this. And there we go. All right, so I won't sit here and let you watch me do this. I would like for you to do that. Do that with your piece all the way across. Try and keep it as straight as possible. Again, if you've got these little clasp or clamp things that you can hold it into place. Also, if you haven't, just grab a sewing needle. I've got these here for the next step. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Let's put sewing needles across. That will help it keep straight. Like that. Not sewing needles, pins. They're not sewing needles. And just continue along that way, keeping it nice and straight on this side. And if you keep it straight on that side, then it'll stay straight on this side. All right. So head off on your own and do your row all the way across. Get to that stitch marker right there. Meet me there once you're done, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, so here I am at the end of the row. Gorgeous. Now I went a tiny little bit crooked and my stick just fits, but there you go, never mind. And so what I want to do is pop my needle into the very last stitch with a stitch marker and the last stitch there. Just remove that stitch marker Making sure, by the way, that you were working on the wrong side of your work, and you'll know that because your tails are on the wrong side, the very first set of tails that we had. And I'll talk about other tails to you in a minute, but for now, just pop that stitch through right there. And then what I want you to do, like we did before, we're going to go over that section. So you're going to, oops, don't drop the needle. You're going to go back into the stitch, but from this way. So go back into the stitch that way. So you're actually going over it like so. Yep. And all that's doing is closing up this area so that won't come undone. It's just reinforcing it really. So now what you want to do, and this is entirely up to you if you want to do this. I have way too many threads, but that's okay. So what you can do here, and I'm going to cut them because my threads are too long. You could do simply what I like doing is take one thread out only. It's all twisted. And you could literally just weave one thread one way and the other thread another way in a different area. And that's pretty much how we're going to weave our ends in on this piece. It's all spun around. There we go. So here's the threads. They're separate, right? Or they're separate now. They weren't before. So all I'm going to do with this thread is simply this. The first one, I'm going to pop in, you know what? I'm even going to change my sewing needle to a thinner sewing needle, just so it's easier to weave in. You can use the same needle if you like. I just like the thinner one, so because I'm working with cotton, it can be so thick. So what we want to do is just split a little bit of yarn there with this one thread, and then keep going through your stitches. The back of your stitches. This is the back of your work. Remember, the back of your work. Oops. No, it's not. That's the front of your work. Sorry, guys. Don't do this. Bring your sewing needle in through the back. Come on, Mary. You can do this. And weave in through the back. I'm so naughty. And start weaving in through the back, Mary. So just keep going all the way through. Ow. Don't pin yourself like I did. And I've gone in a different direction one way, and I'm going back the other way, and that's the end of that thread. That one right there. All right. That's that one there. And what you're going to do is pass this thread through, naughty Mary, and then weave it in. It doesn't matter too much. It will not be noticeable. All right. So know that. So just find a little spot somewhere, like just a space. Make sure the space is down and not up. Otherwise, you won't be able to get your stick in there. So make your space a little lower, like there. Pass your sewing needle through and weave that tail in through some stitches at the back. It will not be noticeable, being the fact that it's one thread, and we used two threads to make our piece. So you can't tell. You won't be able to tell unless you overdo it like I've just done. I think I've overdone it. Don't overdo it, guys. Just once, twice, and you can probably get away with it twice. You don't need to do it 3 times with this one, okay? Now, what you want to do is grab your stick and, and pass it through, making sure, well, it should fit because you've checked it before, all right? So there's your stick. And you could probably make yours a little smaller, and I'll probably cut mine eventually. I won't have them that big. I'll have it like that, yeah? Probably take it out in the shed later and give it a cut. And in fact, that's the cat toy. You can see the little string that goes through there. I bought so many of these sticks, so I'm stealing them from her. So then you're like, that's stealing them from her. So we'll be cutting that, and it won't be so big. And I have a second one that goes down this way as well. So you'll have 2, right? Now, having a look at the back, you'll probably notice, you may not notice, but there's 1, 2, 3, I think there was one up here, 4, there was a couple down here. I used a lot of threads to do this piece. I didn't just have my big skeins attached. I had whatever I had in stash that I know was the same dye lot as this red, and used 10 grams, 20 grams, and I did a lot of weaving in. It was a pest for me, but I got rid of my scraps, okay? Alrighty guys, to make the squares, we're going to start by grabbing 2 strands of our green. So we're now working with 2 balls of your green, right? So grab your 2 strands, wrap it around your finger once and twice, holding it there and holding it down there. Pass your back loop halfway over, hold it there, pass the other loop all the way over your finger, pop your hook in and give everything a tug. You are using the same hook, the 4.5. Now I'm rushing this part because you know that part, yeah, that's very simple. We've done this with the red. So now what we're going to do is chain 9, and a chain, as you know, is yarn over your hook, pull a loop through once, yarn over 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. All right, so get to your 9th stitch. Gorgeous. Now we are going to place a single crochet in the first stitch you come to. Remember, it's making sure there's 2 loops on top because that's 2 threads that we're working with. All right, hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both those loops. Single crochet is exactly the same as we've done with your red. Just working on less stitches. All right, so single crochet all the way across your stitches. You know how to do this part. Remember, we did it before with the red. So very simple. Remember, single crochet US, double crochet UK, into the stitches all the way across. And when you get to your last stitch, you can tell because you've got that kind of little knot there. And again, check your count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, you have 8 single crochets across. We did 9 chains and now we've got 8 single crochet because the first stitch doesn't count. And now we chain 1, turn our work. We're going to work along these stitches with a row of single crochets. 1, make sure you pop your stitch marker in there. I know it sounds like I'm rushing because you've done this part before with the red, with the actual frame itself. So single crochet into every stitch all the way across. Simple, simple, simple. You know it, you know it, you know it. And my yarn is caught. So here we go. Try that. And I've just made it, and then I'll have to unknot it all. It's caught under the side of the table there. All right, well, don't stress because we are at the end of your piece. You're going to single crochet in your stitch marker. Yes, I'm rushing it because guess what? That's it. That is your row that you're going to repeat. Now, we've done 2 rows already. We need 6 altogether. So I want you to head off on your own, repeat this row that you just did for another 4 more rows. Meet me back here once you're done and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. All right, do 4 more rows exactly the same as the last one and I'll meet you back here once you're done. Alrighty guys, so I asked you to do another 4 rows, very quick and easy, yeah? I actually didn't complete this last row and I want everyone to stop there. If they want, or if you want your work to look like that, this is the row we're doing now, the cream row, or white. You can use cream or white. The cream, I'm using a cream, I think, so it looks very similar to the white, so there you go. I'm going to start my single crochet at the end and pull the loop through. I'm going to remove that stitch marker. You've got 2 loops on your hook. Drop your green, don't cut it yet. Grab 2 of your creams, 2 threads of your cream or 2 whites, whatever they are. Pop it over the hook, pull the loops through like so. And now what I want you to do is hold the cream and the green in your back of your hand, the starting threads of your cream and your green in the back of your hand, and then just chain 1 and letting go as you're chaining the 1. Single crochet in your first stitch. You don't need a stitch marker here. Single all the way across and you should still have 8 single crochets across. All right, and all you've done is changed your color. Gorgeous, yeah? Like so. Pop a single crochet in your last stitch. Remove that stitch marker. Pull up a loop. Cut your white. Don't cut your green yet because what I want you to do with your green, you're going to use these 2 whites on this side and the 2 whites on that side to attach to your scroll, if that's what you want to call it. That's what I'm calling it. And then you're going to use this green or these two greens, to sew across here onto your scroll. We're going to do that together later, so don't stress. But give yourself a long tail, doesn't matter, 2 hands worth, it doesn't matter, and give it a cut. And I nearly cut my hand, can you believe it? There you go. So that's what you want to do. You want to make 1, and then you want to make another 11 more. So you need 12, because we have 12 days in our 12 projects of Christmas. So there you go. So you need to make another 11 more, exactly the same as you made this one. That's going to take you a little while, not too long, but a little while. Meet me back here once you're done, and then we will talk about attaching this to our scroll. So as you can see, I've already done one, and see, it goes like that. It's a little pocket, and to show you, this will be up the top, right? I just want to show you that your little piece should go inside your pocket like so. Up the top though, this is where, I don't know, 9 or 10 or something goes. Up the top is where 1 goes. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But just to show you, I placed one on there, and I want to show you exactly what to do with the other one. This is how I do it. I start from the base, yeah, do one on one side and one on the other, and then I calculate whatever's left to sit in the middle. All right, so that way, you know, give yourself a finger's worth between each square, and you're going to attach your square to your piece with a pin, right? On one side, pin on the other, and pin down the base. You can also put a pin up the top just to keep it in place, to stop it from moving around when you are sewing. What I want you to do first is simply this. Grab your sewing needle. Let's move this out the way. You don't need that anymore for a minute. We want to actually clean up the square a little bit. So what I want to do, this little tail right here, if you've left this tail nice and long to attach your square to your scroll, then you will have plenty of thread. You don't have to worry about these tails. So these 2 tails here, you're going to weave those tails in. And you're going to, now this is the front of our work because the tails are sticking upwards. That's the front of our work. So flip it. That is now the back of your piece. And these little corner tails, not your long pieces that you saved. And if you haven't saved any, just get a piece of thread and just pop it in your needle and just attach and go along with us. But for now, we're going to separate these 2 little pieces here. Grab one of them, just like we did before. And we're going to take one thread very carefully and place it in a loop only, and very gently do that. It'll just lift it a little bit, and then go through some of the back of that stitch. Just go one way, go another, give this one a cut. That's not going to come undone, all right? And you've also separated the actual thread, which is, it gives it more reinforcement. So you grab the other thread, attach it to the needle. I'm rushing this part because I want you to get started. Attach it to the needle and do the same thing, but maybe do it in the center for this one, because that will lift up your corner and close your corner up a little bit, all right? If my scissors would work, I need to sharpen my scissors. All right, so that's pretty much what you've got. With these threads here, you're going to trim the white one, just trim it, so that they both fit through your sewing needle. Actually, you can use the same one. I'm pretty sure both these threads fit through these. So I will use the same one. There you go. And then what you're going to do is attach it to your piece. Now, attaching it to your piece, very simple. And I'm rushing this part. I want you to just get started, right? You're going to start attaching by the white, okay, to keep it in place. So leave your green there. This is the right side of your work. Your green is sitting on top, All right, this is the right side of your work. So what you want to do is grab your sewing needle. You're going to start your piece on this side, right? So give yourself 1 or 2 stitches. Now mine, I did it too far over, so I'm going to move mine a little bit further over like that. And then just, I hope that little kitten's not making too much noise for you guys. I can hear her crying in the background, but she's just playing. Oh, now she's here. All right, so that was the kitten, guys. She's made a little bit of fuss, but she's all right. So what you want to do is place your 2 side pieces on like that. Now my needle, sewing needle, pin, it's not a sewing needle, I can't get this right, is crooked, right? You want to make sure that they look the same. You want to keep it nice and straight. Then you want to place a sewing needle, let's try pin, on the opposite side. Come on, Mary, you can do this. Oh, and sorry about that, guys. I just had to transition there because yours truly did pin herself. And it wasn't a pretty look. Anyway, grab your sewing needle. Let's try pin again. She can't get this right today, guys. And do the opposite side. Yeah, and then grab one more, the last one, and do, let's make sure I'm not going to dirty my piece. Don't you love it? And do that side right there. And I nearly did it again. Anyway, so what you want to do is do the same on this side with your pins. Yeah. Once you've done that and you've sewn up your corners right here of those little threads, once you've done that, you can do a third one exactly the same. Make sure you've sewn up these ends here inside. Do the third one the same. Keep them as straight as possible. And then you're going to sew your piece like this. I'll show you one more time, and I think I've lost the sewing needle. Don't you love it? Here it is. You're going to start with your cream. Come on, Mary. And you're going to go inside your piece. So with this side here, you're going like that into the stitch right there. And what that'll do is actually close up your stitch here too. And you're going into your work like so. I want to make sure it's even on both sides there. Yeah. And then you're coming back through this way right here. All right. On the side of it. Bit like we did before with this. Yeah. On the side, because you want to make sure that the top part of your pocket stays in place. Yeah. If I can get it through. Like so. All right. Once that's stitched in, you're going to do the same with the opposite side. Yeah. You go over the back. Make sure you don't pin yourself with these pins. Well, I said it right at least. And you just find some spaces to weave this tail in. Oh, I've lost some thread. You could separate it again if you like. I might do that. And just weave your little piece in. You don't have to weave it a lot, just as many times as you can. It's come undone. Do it 2 or 3 times, cut it, and then that side is done. Then what you want to do, oh, without pinning yourself, do the other side. You're doing well today. Do the other side the same. In fact, we're going to do the other side together. I'm going to take out this pin because I've already done enough damage. I've done enough damage. Do you like that? She's done enough damage. And I'm going to do the same with this end. It's funny. I've done enough damage. I'll leave that for the bloopers. You don't want to see that in this video. You don't want to see that. All right. So once again, you've got your sewing thread here or your thread here. You want to keep it straight. Make sure everything is straight. Don't go crooked like I did with that one. Yeah. Go into the actual stitch. Go into the outside of your piece like so. Gorgeous. And just pull that through. And it closes it up. All right. So once again, you want to bring your sewing needle through. And this is just reinforcing it like that. And I need to take my threads out. And back into the stitch there, like so. And then you weave your thread in at the back, either together or separately, whichever suits you. Now with this one here, whoops, and I've lost the needle. I'm doing well today. I'm really doing well today. With this one here, I've actually weaved both threads at the same time, but you can separate them like that. There's no other way to hide these threads, but for us it doesn't matter because this is going to be facing the wall. Yeah, and that's how you attach your squares. That took a long time. I do apologize, guys, and it didn't help that I pinned myself. But what I want you to do is exactly that. Do the same for all 12 of your squares. Now, what I would suggest, and I think this is a really good idea, you have 4 squares up the top and 3 across. I would do, and I'll show you quickly. I'm not going to do it for you, but I will show you, and then you can go ahead and do it because you've done these 2. Notice how I've done the corners first and then got ready to do the centers. I would do all 4 squares. I'm sorry, let's try that again. All top 2 squares first. Top 2 squares first. Then you can start focusing on where you're going to place the other squares. It's upside down for starters. Come on, Mary. The white part has to be up the top. That's the top of your piece. I don't know if I can fit all this in. Let's have a look. Not really. But there you go. So I would do this one and this one here first. Take that undone. This one and this one here first. Remember, in fact, if it'll help you, I will place the stick in there. Right. Or you can put a little pin to show not to go too high. If you go too high, you're on the stick. Right. If you pop it there, I'll pop a little pin there without doing too much damage. Take the stick out. All right, just pop a pin. There's a lot of mess here. That's your piece right there. Yeah, you want to just go one down and pop your pin without doing any damage, Mary. There, and do those pins all the way across so you know not to go too high. So do 1, 2, 3, and 4 first. Then do these center ones right here, keeping them nice and straight. And then you can do the other ones. And it'll all just add up and join in the right spot. I hope that makes sense, yeah? If you do your corners first, you know where to put your center pieces, yeah? So you need 3 across, 4 down. 3, 6, 9, 12 days of Christmas. Or in our case, excuse me, let's turn that around, 12 projects of Christmas, all right? Oops, alrighty guys, I forgot to mention what to do with the green. Thread your green, and you can thread the 2 strands through again. I'm so naughty. I was going to send you off without telling you what to do. So with your green, once again, you can attach your pins. Now I've taken my pins out because I realised that I was just going to go ahead and start sewing and realised I forgot to show you what to do. So keep your pins attached. Make sure you follow the direction of where your tail is. Now your green should be on this section here. So what you want to do here is go directly into the very next hole of your green. So it's the very next stitch, if you will, if that helps. Go down into the base of your work like so, and then go back into the very next stitch and up through the very next stitch. And that's pretty much what you're doing with the green. Now this will be a little tight. Make sure you don't pick up any threads underneath. It will be a little tight for sure. And just keep going all the way down like so. Gorgeous. And back up through there. All right. So we are getting towards the base. Once you get towards the base, you've got your base stitch right there. It's pulling up a little bit, don't worry about that. Just go straight down into the base of the corner like so. All right, you're at the corner. Yep. Now you want to turn and come down here. You don't have to turn, you just, well, you do. You have to go through this section right there. And it takes you into the next stitch. All right. And then I'm just going to try and even my work out a little bit. Yeah. I just pulled it like that. Go into the next stitch, go through, go into your next space and stitch right there. Once you get to the top bit here, I would just check that you can pop your fingers in, or you can pop your little calendar pieces in there. All right, so it fits gorgeously. Then making sure you haven't, stitched your work together in there. Then you're at the back here. You want to do what I said before. You could either divide it, or I'm going to show you what I do without dividing it. I'm going to go into the pocket from the outside of it, not the inside of the pocket. And all I'm doing is just going down some stitches like that. Now, if I were you, I would separate the threads, go one way and go the other. Doing it this way is relatively thick, making sure keep your finger in the pocket, making sure you're only going through the pocket and not the actual piece itself. The inside of the pocket, not the actual outside. I think that's plenty. I don't think this is going to come undone. One way, the other. Whee, this is really tight. That means this is not coming undone, yeah? So give it a cut and your first two pieces are on. Make sure you weave in these little ends here. Make sure mine's really loose now, so I'm going to tighten it up. Make sure you weave that end in, yeah? If you wanted to, you could have gone over your green a little bit more. It's entirely up to you. There's no right or wrong way, and you're not putting heavy things in there. It's just a light piece of paper anyways. All right. Alrighty guys, just a quick note also to let you know that when I put my pins here, I realised that I told you to get your piece to go right up to here. It doesn't work that way, okay? So if I was to take that out, it would be all right. But once you put that in, if you had it up here, it would be bent like that, and you don't want that look. So give yourself a thumb's worth after the pin. So there's no real measurements here. There's your pin and there's your thumb's worth, and that's where you start your top pieces. All right, but to let you know, I've done, let's try that again. This doesn't want to work for me today. Yeah, to let you know, I've done the 4 squares. All right, so now you can head off on your own and do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then do the rest in the middle. So head off on your own and do that now. Meet me back here once you're done, and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. There you have it, guys. Your job now, and I've shown you how to do the 4 of them. Your job now is to do the rest, weave in all those ends at the back. Now, if you don't like the look of that, you can also attach a lining at the back, okay? But I'm not worried about ours because ours is going to be hooked up somewhere, probably around here somewhere. I haven't really decided. I hope I'm in frame there. Somewhere here. I haven't decided where. Wherever it has to be hooked up, it's got to suit the lives. So we have to adjust it to suit our lives. So there you go. Because you guys will be, well, I'll be taking it out for you, taking out the number, showing you what the project is, and then you will choose the colour combination of that project. Whoever gets chosen from our hat. And all your names go into this hat. And I've still got the names in here of our regular subscribers. But if you're joining us new, I will add your name in there as well. Shuffle it about, shake, 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 and pull out a name. And that person will choose number 2 or second project, if you will now. Because the first project is, well, I'll say semi-complete because I might decorate a little bit and I'll probably put strings or something. I don't know. We'll think about it. So thank you very much for joining us here at Wow Crochet Designs. Don't forget, guys, to complete your piece. Don't be in a hurry. We've got plenty of time. And remember, this is something that I've created for the channel. You could also create yours, your 12 days of Christmas for your family and friends, or for your office, or wherever it is that you want your Advent calendar to be. Thank you very much for joining us here in creating the gorgeous Advent calendar. My name is Mary. This is Wow Crochet Designs, and I'll catch you all soon. Ciao for now.